Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. Al Jazeera reports that Ukraine has launched strikes on gas facilities in Russia's Orenburg region, located over 500 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. According to President Volodymyr Zelensky, this attack was a retaliatory measure following a series of overnight Russian assaults on Ukraine, which resulted in 6 fatalities in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The Ukrainian president stated that Russia's attacks involved more than 200 drones, causing damage to energy infrastructure, apartment buildings, a kindergarten, and a civilian train. While the Orenburg governor claimed that 9 Ukrainian drones were repelled with only minor damage and no injuries, Ukraine confirmed its strike as a symmetrical response. The renewed fighting occurred after a 3-day ceasefire, brokered by U.S. President Donald Trump and coinciding with Russia's Victory Day, came to an end. Kiev had reportedly offered to extend the truce, but Moscow declined. Amid these developments, Russia also tested a new nuclear-capable intercontinental missile, which President Vladimir Putin described as the world's most powerful. Despite Kremlin's suggestions that peace talks are progressing, Zelensky warned that Ukraine anticipates further attacks, with EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas viewing Putin's peace overtures as a sign of weakness. Al Jazeera reports that Serbia has launched its first-ever joint military exercise with NATO, marking a significant moment of cooperation between the Balkan nation and the alliance. The 2-week-long drills, which commenced on Tuesday and are set to conclude on May 23rd, involve approximately 600 troops from Serbia, Italy, Romania, and Turkey. Military planners and observers from France, Germany, Italy, Montenegro, the United Kingdom, and the United States are also participating. This collaboration is particularly notable as it comes less than 30 years after NATO's air campaign against Yugoslavia during the Kosovo War, a deeply sensitive subject in Serbia. The exercise falls under NATO's Partnership for Peace program, which Serbia has been part of for nearly 2 decades. Despite regularly participating in drills with individual NATO members, this marks the first time Serbia has conducted an exercise directly with the alliance. Serbia maintains a policy of military neutrality, carefully balancing its close ties with both NATO and Russia. A painting, Portrait of a Young Girl, by Dutch artist Toon Kelder, originally looted by Nazis from Jewish art collector Jacques Gustiker during the Second World War, has been recovered. Global News reports that the artwork was discovered in the home of descendants of Hendrik Seyffardt, a notorious Dutch SS collaborator. Art detective Arthur Brand facilitated its recovery after a family member, reportedly ashamed, reached out. The painting, believed to have been acquired by Seyffardt from senior Nazi official Hermann Göring, could not be legally confiscated by police due to expired Dutch statutes of limitations. However, it is now in the hands of a Dutch journalist and is slated for return to the Gustiker heirs. This marks another significant art recovery, following a similar discovery in Argentina last year. Global News reports that Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney announced a commitment of $270 million to Ukraine to help secure critical military capabilities. This new funding, part of NATO's list of military items, increases Canada's total monetary support for Ukraine to an impressive $25.8 billion. Carney made this announcement from Armenia, where he is attending the European Political Community Summit, a significant gathering focusing on political, security, and infrastructure cooperation among world leaders. He emphasized Canada's steadfast support for Ukraine against Russia's full-scale invasion, stating that all of Canada stands behind the nation and that this contribution will bolster Ukraine's fight for eventual peace and prosperity. Carney also addressed the summit, stressing the importance of acknowledging the world as it is and fostering partnerships to rebuild the international order, particularly from Europe, amidst global ruptures in technology, energy, commerce, and geopolitics. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed his gratitude for Canada's ongoing moral and financial backing. Canada is notably the first non-European country to participate in the summit, which was initiated after Russia's 2022 invasion. During his visit, Carney also held discussions with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, European Council President Antonio Costa, Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, and Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, focusing on deepening collaboration in critical areas like supply chains, minerals, energy, and technology. NPR reports that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's governing coalition is on the brink of collapse due to an ongoing dispute over military draft exemptions for ultra-Orthodox Jews. A key ultra-Orthodox coalition partner, Degel HaTorah, has publicly called for the parliament to be dissolved after Netanyahu reportedly indicated he would not advance legislation to shield their community from military service before upcoming elections. This move threatens to trigger new national elections, potentially in early September, as the current law mandates elections by October 27th. The debate surrounding ultra-Orthodox military service has been a long-standing issue in Israel. While most Jewish Israelis serve, ultra-Orthodox men have historically received exemptions to pursue religious studies. The recent conflict in Gaza has intensified calls for broader participation in the military, with Israel's Supreme Court ordering the government last year to begin drafting ultra-Orthodox Israelis. Premier Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, along with centrist Yair Lapid, is reportedly a front-runner in polls, aiming to unseat Netanyahu, who would remain acting prime minister until a new government is formed. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.